Welcome, Grant. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you, Rupa. Thank you. And can I say, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me onto your show. Great
Oh, what a pleasure it is to, you know what, thank you for being on my show today.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hi, hello, everybody. This is Masterminds Fireside Chat. And today I'm so privileged. And today we have with us the amazing and the energetic person, Grant Murrell from London. Let me quickly introduce Grant. He is an international speaker, success coach, trainer, mentor, NLP trainer, hypnotist, radio show presenter. Oh my God. And the list goes on, by the way. But I'm going to pause here and ask you, tell me about that radio show you're talking about.
Okay. That's called the Grant Murrell Business Show.
Mm-hmm.
That's a radio show that goes out, and it's an internet radio show, so that it has a wider coverage.
Wow.
And it's fun because one of my passions years ago was music. I used to play in a rock band.
Oh my God.
Yes, I did. And it's a whole different story, but it's a whole different life I had. And it was a great time. So I play music with the business show.
Mm-hmm.
So that I try to match some of the music to reflect the topic of the show.
Oh my God. I did not know about it. And we have spoken before this. And this is a news. This is amazing.
Thank you. So that's that. And sometimes I teach something. Sometimes I'll interview a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, Rupa, I'd love to have you as a guest on the show. That would be
What
great.
an honor. What an honor. Thank you so much. So before I proceed, let me quickly ask you the music question.
Okay.
Did you have long locks of hair at one point of time?
Actually, I did. Yeah.
I guess so.
Something people won't know, my hair is relatively short. I mean, okay, what with the lockdown, our hair's all getting a little bit longer. Rupa and I were talking about this just before the show, obviously. But when my hair goes long, which it hasn't been for many, many years, but when it gets long, it actually gets really tight curls.
Oh, wow. That's a rock star trait.
And it was purely natural. And, you know, girls used to come up to me and say, how do you get your hair to curl like that? What do you use? I said, nothing. I just wash it and comb it, and that's it.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. I mean, there is this always, the unknown part of a person, a great speaker, a great trainer, and it's fun to know the side, which is wild. Oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Great. So, Grant, I know, this is just a brief introduction from me, but I am looking forward to hear about you from you. And I'm very sure the listeners of this show would love to hear about you as well. So the mic is all yours.
Okay. So a brief introduction about myself. My name is Grant Murrell. I'm an international speaker, coach and trainer. And over the last 12 years, myself and my international team have helped hundreds of individuals, companies and organizations across 15 countries and 5 continents to increase their profits by up to 200%, often in just a few short months. Wow. By working on their team, their systems, their mindset and their strategy, so that they can live a life of passion, a life of freedom, and a life of purpose, so that they can develop a business and a lifestyle that can become a legacy for generations and generations to come.
Wow, how powerful is that? Freedom, passion, purpose. I mean, some of these words, and as you know, we do have that mission in common. And it is amazing how some of my guests have been talking about this. So when you talk about freedom, what is your definition of freedom? What does freedom mean to you, Grant?
That's a great question. Thank you, Rupa. My definition of freedom is the ability to quite simply do what you want, when you want, as long as it doesn't affect other people in an adverse way, obviously. The ability to plan your own diary. I used to work for a big corporate company years ago. And, I had my own diary, and I remember distinctly filling it out with client meetings, and I had lots of clients. And then sometimes someone very senior in the company would say, oh, no, you're going there that date. And I said, oh, no, I can't. I have this in the diary. change it. And I famously said to them once, what's the point in giving me a diary if I can't control it?
Wow.
So that was the thing. And so for me, it's about controlling your own diary, doing what you want when you want. Yes, of course, we all have obligations in life, and that's fine. But if you get in tune with your purpose, then what you're doing, we're technically working now, but it just doesn't feel like work at all. So therefore, we controlled our diary. Nobody told us we could or couldn't do that. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of expressionism, to do things without judgment, as long as you're doing it morally, legally, and ethically, is just beautiful.
I loved your definition. Thank you so much for sharing that, Grant.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Great. And because the show is all about Masterminds Fireside Chat, and we will be talking about Mastermind shortly, but could you also talk a little bit about when you talked about, speaking on stage and training so many people, and you've been doing for how many years now?
Kind of 12 professionally, but kind of semi-professionally, I would say about 18 years. Yeah.
Wow. 18 years. That's just 2 years shy of 2 decades. Oh my God. Wow, that's amazing. And could you please share with me and the listeners because you're an international speaker and a trainer and a mentor and coach. So so here is the question. Which topic is the closest to your heart when you are on stage?
Thank you. I mean, here's the thing. I talk about business development, helping people generate business, moral, legal, ethical, sustainable business, and all these things. But the thing underneath it, the thing that makes it all work, is you as an individual. Doesn't matter how big the company is, it's driven by a person or persons. Could be a team, could be a board, could be a steering committee, could be a CEO, could be the CFO. But it's driven by humans. It's human powered. Same as if you've got software, even artificial intelligence. Fantastic move forward. Who designed that? Humans. It all comes down to humans. And my belief is that everybody is brilliant. Everybody's brilliant. Everybody's got brilliance inside of them. They may not know just where they hid it. So it's my job, my role, my honor, my responsibility to help you find your brilliance, to polish it up, bring it out, and share it with the world.
Wow. And isn't it the need of the hour now more than ever? And right now we are recording this. Today is 11th of April, 2020, and we are right in the midst of the corona crisis. So now more than ever, people need to realize their inner power, their inner strength, the brilliance that they have. It doesn't matter if they are in job or business, offline business, local business, or online business. This is the time to unlock what I call it as the inner potential. What do you think about today's crisis? This crazy crisis that we are in right now. More than ever, people need it now. So before we could even proceed, what is that one message that you want to give out to people who are listening to this right here in Corona crisis?
Thank you. So I will say this, and I mean this very respectfully for those who are ill, have been ill or will be ill. Enormous empathy for those. But for those who won't be ill, and even of those who are ill, hopefully most of them are going to get better.
Yeah.
But my message would be this. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Correct.
So my question to you is, where is the opportunity in all this? What things are going to be possible now that would never have been possible before? I'll give one example, and I can't say too much because it's confidential, but one of my clients had a pretty big business. And he said to me the other day that is £150,000. No, sorry, my apologies, euros. He's in Europe. 150,000 euros down. So I was at a mastermind with somebody just before the lockdown. and this lady had hairdressing salons.
Mm.
And then she coaches hairdressing salons. So she has her own coaching. While we were there, she had a phone call from a salon saying, we've been told to close down. So within 10 minutes, her entire business came to a standstill.
Oh my God.
While we were at that mastermind, she completely turned around a brand new business idea and was making money by the end of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is an example of what I mean.
Mm.
Don't look at what this doesn't give us. Look what this does give us. And one of my clients in Europe, as I said, he was 150,000 euros down in orders. But like I mentioned, they aren't cancelled. They're merely postponed.
Mm.
Okay, they still want to do that later. But we said, well, how could you continue business even while this is happening? And basically, he works in making advertisements and things.
Mm.
Well, he's come up with a new idea that allows people to do the work virtually, which I think could revolutionize what he's doing. So this outbreak could actually be the making of him and putting his company really on the map.
This is so powerful. So what I could also hear in your message is it's within us. It's, for example, right now in this crisis, I can look at this crisis as absolutely end of everything, or I can look at this adversity and see how and where is my opportunity to serve, opportunity to grow, opportunity to bring something to this world. This is such a powerful message, Grant.
You're welcome, and it's just from the heart. It's just this is how I look at things, and how I urge everybody else to look at things, because there's great opportunities out there. And remember, there's more millionaires made in a recession than at any other time.
Absolutely. This is so amazing. And I think with that, let us dive straight into the topic that we have connected to talk about today. And that is drum roll. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. That is not a drum roll. I suck at it.
I can do a drum roll.
There you go. Thank you.
There we are.
I keep forgetting, right? Right. So let us talk about masterminds. So, question to you. What does mastermind mean to you? What is your personal definition or favorite definition of mastermind? What it is and what it is not?
Thank you, Rupa. Okay, my personal definition of masterminding is the bringing together of people with the right intention, but from different backgrounds.
Wow. Okay.
To offer a different perspective on your individual challenge. Okay, and that's what it is. I think it's I can go into that a bit more later. So it's people from different viewpoints who would have different viewpoints to yourself, because you know the old adage: if we do what we always did, we'll get what we always got. So it's about getting fresh ideas, fresh views. It's done in an open, honest, confidential, respectful manner. And that's what it must be, to really bring out the best, with the best intention for everybody in the room.
Wow.
Okay? The ideas must not be taken from other people. If they're given from the heart to other people. What you also asked me what a mastermind is not. Okay, in my personal opinion, if you look at the true origins of masterminding, and I stick with this, masterminding is not guru led. So it would not be, if it was yourselves going to be setting up a mastermind, it would not be you teaching people about things. There's that would be a different format. That wouldn't be masterminding. You would merely be the facilitator to bring together these minds and to facilitate the meeting in an orderly manner, so that everybody gets the value that they came to get.
This is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that definition of yours.
You're welcome, Rupa. You're welcome. Hope it helps.
Yes, indeed. And in fact, that day when we were having a conversation, we also talked about how the term mastermind has been a buzzword lately
Yeah.
and how it is misused. So,
Yes, yes.
so can you share with me an example where you totally got frustrated just by the way the term mastermind was used in a situation that was not a mastermind?
Yeah. Where'd you begin? he- Here in the UK, I would say around about, it seems to me like about 4 years ago, it became super popular. You couldn't move every time you went on Facebook. This person or that person who you vaguely knew was suddenly running a mastermind.
Mm.
And it would be this and it would be that, and it would be people telling people what to do. And I went to a couple and had a look. Well, some were okay, some
Mhm.
really weren't. They were guru led. It was run by people's egos.
Yeah.
It was all about them, pictures of them on the poster. And I'm thinking, why would you be on the poster? 'Cause it's not about you, is it? It's about them. And it was just misused. And I remember once at a business fair, I
Mhm.
bumped into some people I knew, nice people I knew, and they said, "Oh, what about this business group, this mastermind?" I said, "Oh, I run one," and said the price, and they said, "Oh, you should come to our one. It's free." And I thought, "So are you in it?" Yeah. And who else is it? When they told me, I thought, well, that's why it's free.
Mm.
Because, not to be rude, there was nice people, but I know the quality of what they do. And it just sounds a terrible thing to say, and I don't mean that, but it became a friends group.
Oh, yes.
It was just friends having a chat. It was a support group. Now, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. But just to be clear, that's a support group. That's not masterminding. There was no holding each other accountable,
Mm.
fearless, ruthless support from the heart to help them
Mm.
achieve what they said they was going to achieve. There was none of that. It was just a friends group of a bunch of, dare I say, people who have been pretty unsuccessful.
Mhm.
So, as a gene pool, there was a lot of the same unsuccessful thinking there.
Mm.
Here go, that is the problem.
Yeah.
There was no fresh thinking coming into the group.
Mm. I hear you. In fact, I just loved what you talked about masterminds, right? You know, this fearless, ruthless, accountability, holding each other accountable with heart. You kind of literally summarized what a beautiful mastermind should ideally look like with these keywords. So let me just pick up one keyword from there, because I know that, you know, for running a great mastermind or a success of mastermind depends largely upon holding each other accountable. So can you give an example of you know, when you talk about holding each other accountable, and that plays a very important role in a mastermind group, how does that work? Is it within the group, before, after mastermind? How can accountability, holding each other accountable, be utilized to the best to make a mastermind successful?
Okay, thank you, Rupert. So, first of all, in my mastermind groups, people agree to like a code of honor, a code of this kind, and we agree, and that's read at the beginning. Okay,
Mm.
just to reiterate, and if everybody has an issue with it, we talk about it. If they do, they may have to step aside, because we have to have the standards of the
Mm.
good intent to support and hold each other accountable.
Mm.
Holding each other accountable is always done from the heart,
Yes.
because if somebody tells me what they want to achieve, they've said that. They've generated that. They want to achieve it. And we will hold them accountable to their higher standards to achieve that. You've
Mm.
heard the expression, you're not going to foul, not on my watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, if you're in the group, we're going to help you succeed. So at the end of the session, we will say, what did you get from this? What actions are you going to take before the
Mm.
next session? And they'll say X, Y, and Z. I'm saying, which date will they be done by? Well, sometimes just by the next meeting.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they'll say, well, I'll have it done on this date or that date. Fine. If it's a larger thing, then maybe they won't finish the whole thing by the next date. But let's agree a part of that project or that action that's going to be completed. I.e., I may have at least sourced a web designer and given him the brief for a website, for example, something like that. Could be much. So they may not have the whole thing completed, but the wheels will be in motion. There will be something measurable. That will be recorded by the facilitator. It will be read back to make sure that that is correct. And then next time, at the end, it will say, before you start, so where are we on last month's actions?
Oh, wonderful.
Did we do this? And if not, I said, so what happened? What happened? Because, you did say that this was going to be done. Now, we know that things happen in life. This is the thing with accountability. We know that things happen. Coronavirus has happened. And, get that. None of us was really expecting that one. However, how can you succeed despite that? Get creative. And now we know the coronavirus is here. We've got that. So we can't keep using that excuse. Okay, so we've got that one. It's here. Now there is coronavirus. What can you do? And we hold them accountable. And if people keep not fulfilling their accountability, question for them, there may be, are they setting their goals too high within that given timescale? And we want them to succeed. So if so, should they not bite off too much to chew, just chunk it down a little bit so it's achievable? But if they just aren't bothering, we will have a word with them. If it continues, they will be asked to leave the group. Because we can't bring the quality down. Got to keep the quality high. Otherwise, the people who are forging forward will not be getting their value from the group.
Oh, wow. So you really mean you run mastermind groups which are fearless and ruthless.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. However, it's ruthless with a heart. It's ruthless support. Yes. Ruthless support. I mean, we give them a shove with a kiss attached. It really is. But I have to say, I've never had to ask anybody to leave the group.
Yeah.
I've had to have a word with somebody. It's always with the intent to improve them, not to berate them. It's not what I want to do. I always want to protect their self-esteem.
Yes.
Give them dignity and to help them become the very best version of themselves.
Wow. This is such a beautiful structure. And you know what? You actually answered my next question, which was about what is the mastermind structure you follow. And I loved the fact that you start with a code of honor. And for those of you who are listening to this word, code of honor, for the first time, we will talk about it. I'll probably give a link to it. But in your definition, what is code of honor and why is it important to have that?
Thank you. It saves a lot of problems later on. Because you get a collection of people and we've all got different ideas. This is, as someone once said, that can be like herding cats in an alley. Running everybody's got different ideas. For those of you in a corporate world, you've probably heard of the term shared vision.
Shared vision, yeah.
If you take that idea of a shared vision, now as it's a collective of people, and different ways of doing it. If you, Rupa, with your group, you may have a different code of honor, code of ethics. Which is a slightly different thing, but it's a collection of ideas. Now people have to buy into that, and say A, understand it, and B, comply to it, because otherwise we're not all singing from the same hymn sheet. We're not all on the same page. And that makes such a difference. But bringing people together, because if somebody goes off that, you can mention it and say, sorry, you may read them at the beginning of the meeting and different variations, just to remind everybody. So sometimes some may be thinking of coming up with an excuse, and where you've just pre-framed it and just said, this is our conduct, they'll go, I can't use that then, can I? Sorry, I didn't get it done. Okay, how come? What happened? Well, you see, because we hold people accountable to high standards for their benefit, not for my benefit. It doesn't matter to me. But they said they want to achieve X, Y, and Z. They're only going to do that if they do A, B, and C. So we hold them accountable to doing those A, Bs, and Cs.
That's correct. And this is amazing. I mean, this is the first time, by the way, this is the first time that a guest has mentioned about using a code of honor at the beginning of mastermind, any mastermind. So this is so powerful. And for the rest of the audience who is watching this and who still would like to know more about code of honor, I would highly recommend Blair Singer's book, Team Code of Honor. It is so powerful, and that is where we all have learned this from. Right, Grant?
Yeah, absolutely. And some people use different variations. Like
Yeah.
I'm saying, you can variate on it, but
Yeah.
it's your mastermind group. We're just here to give you a few tips on how you can approach it. Some things you won't like, take what you need, leave what you don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with that, let me just reiterate what I understood your mastermind structure, at least the beginning of mastermind. You read the code of honor, and this is so powerful. You actually read out what the accountability announcements were from the last meeting, and you do the calibration where we are today on the accountability or the commitments that we had made in the last mastermind. This is so powerful. What else happened? What is your overall mastermind structure looks like?
Okay, thank you. So once we've done that and we understood what has been done, so we've really got a overview of where everybody is. We then do a very brief introduction from each person.
Yeah.
Just a couple of moments to say what their challenge is or what they want to achieve by the end of this mastermind session.
Mm-hmm.
So they pose their challenge, if you will.
Okay.
What they want to achieve. Okay. And then the facilitator will just say, just to be sure, it's that. Okay. Got it. Move on to the next person. So, I mean, typically, I would have 6 or 8 people in a mastermind group.
Okay.
Okay. So it's fairly intimate. Once it's gone like this, I mean, there can be different structures where you can have more. So it depends on, on the structure and the value of the people in the group. So you can have larger ones, but if you want to keep it more intimate, the value goes up. So, so once you've done that, you've understood, then you spend a longer period of time, depends how many people, maybe 12 minutes, something like this, 10, 12 minutes, depending how many people are on the call, with each person, and we just state, okay, so your challenge is this. Okay. And then each person will just give some suggestions. Have you considered this? Very importantly, that gratitude is very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that? I know, I mean, you personally shared this with me last time, and I loved that idea. I mean, when you talk about gratitude, so one is knowing gratitude is important, and second is knowing how to express gratitude in a mastermind to make it as a very safe and supportive environment. Would you like to share how you implement gratitude in your masterminds?
Sure. It's part of the code of honor. It's showing gratitude that we have. In that, the worst thing that can happen, now, you guys have all been in a mastermind, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will give you advice that you've already done or you already know. That happens. But they gave it with the very best intention. Now, rather than saying, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've done that, which you may have, you could discreetly let them know that you have previously tried this, but also be very grateful and thank them for that input. Because here's the thing, whatever you're grateful for, you tend to get more of. So if you stop giving gratitude to people, they may start getting fed up with your lack of gratitude, and they may think, why am I bothering with this person? And they may think, okay, I just won't bother telling them anything else. They can work it out by themselves. And then the mastermind will start to break down. Lack of communication. Then they may say, why are you not giving your views? Well, because that person never appreciates it. Blah, 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 blah. So there you are. So the key thing is always be grateful. It may not be for the answer because it may not be useful. Or don't forget. This happens when I mastermind with people. Maybe one of my colleagues will give a great idea to someone. And they'll say, great. And I said, picking up on that idea, could you improve that by doing this? Have you thought of that? And they're like, oh, that's even... Now, I maybe wouldn't have ever had that idea had my colleague not have come up with this idea. But
Hmm.
when they'd done that, it sent a spark in my brain, and I thought we could improve it this way. So even if someone gives you an idea you've already thought about, sometimes somebody else saying it, a different voice or with a different viewpoint or slightly explained differently, may add a different nuance. You
Hmm.
may then be able to say, actually, thank you for that. And it's interesting because I previously tried it this way,
Hmm.
but you saying that makes me wonder, could I perhaps try it that way? Or you put a new slant on it, which would make all the difference. I haven't thought of it that way. Thank you.
Hmm.
So that you're protecting the integrity of the person giving it, you're improving their self-esteem, and of course, that's going to encourage them to come up with new ideas.
Beautiful.
Because think, if anybody's under pressure and they say, okay, they're going to put you a whole load of pressure, everybody's going to look at you, you're going to feel really tense. Oh, and by the way, be really creative. It doesn't work. To be creative, you've got to be relaxed, have fun. You can have fun with these things. Fun, relax, let your mind flow. This is a
Hmm.
creative exercise. You can't do that under pressure. And the more comfortable you can make people feel,
Hmm.
the better. And a great way to make people feel comfortable is to make their opinions welcomed and valued.
Matter.
Hence why gratitude is important.
This is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Grant.
Welcome.
I
Welcome.
just love the way, and it all ties back together with the whole intention of a mastermind. It is not a conference, it is not a training, it is not, I may be a facilitator, but I'm not the rock star. I may be giving direction to the mastermind, but it's ultimately, I mean, I loved what you said. You talked about 6 to 8 people in a mastermind, and when you're putting each one, let's say, in the spotlight, so one person talks about their challenge, and there are 6 or 5 or 7 other people who are now going to give their solutions, their thought about the solution to this challenge. Now, at the end of the mastermind, this person is going to walk out with not one, but probably 4 to 5 different solutions to the single challenge that this person walked in with. And if that is not the power of mastermind, I don't know what else is.
Absolutely. Well explained. Well explained. Because it is a very, very powerful exercise and a very empowering exercise. And often people walk away from a mastermind feeling absolutely supercharged with
Yeah.
power, energy, and ideas from their colleagues. And they
So
become a
true.
really, really strong group. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful thing.
In fact, this reminds me that one of my coaches, he talks about why should you pay to be a part of a very intimate mastermind. And he says, forget everything. Even if you leave everything else from the mastermind, I have personally paid, or rather, invested in a high paid mastermind only for this one reason. I go there with a challenge and I get 4 to 5 different solutions. And that itself is a value for my time. It's a return on my investment, it's a return on my time
Sure.
just for this one thing. Challenges with multiple solutions by multiple people. How powerful is that?
That's beautiful. That's very well stated. Very well stated. Because remember, why you go there, it's you can have fun, but you're
Yeah,
going there to fix a problem, fix a challenge.
yeah,
And if you're getting that as a result, what more do you want? Now,
exactly.
here's the thing. I've found with successful people, well, what's the one thing that we can't buy?
We can't buy time for sure.
Thank you.
The
Yeah,
richest person can't buy time.
exactly. The richest person cannot buy time,
Yeah.
but they do buy shortcuts.
Mm,
And a mastermind
love
can be a
it.
shortcut. So,
Mm.
what price would you put on that?
Oh, beautiful. Mm,
Okay. It's the most
beautiful.
valuable commodity on earth. We can
Mm,
always get more money.
yes.
Yes, I know we have to work for it, but we can always get more money.
Yeah.
We cannot buy more time.
Wow, Kran. No wonder you are an international speaker and a coach and a mentor. I just love the way you put this. You can't buy time, but you can buy shortcuts. Oh, wow, how powerful. And for me, this is one of my biggest takeaways from this discussion of ours. Lovely.
Great, great. I hope it helps people. It's
It is.
how I see life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. So when it comes to the structure, we are talking about, code of honor, accountability, the intro, the challenge, the spotlight that we put on. What else constitute the structure of a great mastermind as per you?
What else constitutes a great structure of masterminding? Okay, great question. What else constitutes a great structure? It is the context. It is the context.
Context. Hmm.
It is the intention. And this is where the skill does come in, I think.
Yeah.
It's thinking, okay, imagine it like this. If you've ever hosted a party, a family party, a business party, a dinner party, people trying to think, who can I sit next to who to talk, who will get on. You ever run networking groups? Because I've been very prominent in networking for 16 years or 18 years. 18 years now, right?
Yeah.
And a whole different story, but I've taught networking to various groups and things like this, and very high level networking.
Yeah.
Now, the devil is in the detail. Who can you put together and who can help who?
Yeah.
So think about that. It's a little bit like this, where who can you introduce to who? Who could you introduce to the networking, sorry, not network, the masterminding group, who would really help each other? So sometimes it's about matching people, not just throwing anybody in. And this is perhaps one of the slightly more challenging areas. It's getting people of the same level. Yeah. Sometimes a little bit higher, and everybody wants to be in a group where there's higher people. But if everybody does that, I mean, where do you begin? So it's about matching people who are on the same level, and then they will say, well, what am I getting out of it? That's why you want people from different industries or different sub-industries, so that you get a different viewpoint with a different professional background. And here's a tip. Don't just get caught up with the idea with the person with the highest education will have the best answers, because that's not always the case, I can promise you.
Yeah.
Some of the best entrepreneurs I've known are people who certainly didn't go to university, sometimes got thrown out of school.
Yeah.
But ask a deeper question if they want to. Why did they get thrown out of school? Maybe because it was naughty, but maybe because their mind was too creative for the pace of things.
Yeah.
I had a cousin, it wasn't one of our blood family, married into our family, a guy who was a pretty down-to-earth guy, and he allegedly got expelled from school. And he became, I won't say the name of the company, but he became a syndicate of a very, very large bank.
There you go.
Bank. Yeah. And my late mother went to the family wedding there at one point, and she went there and thought she got lost, and she knocked on the door and she said, is this where the wedding party is? And the man said, oh, good God, no, not here. I said, this is the gardener's house. You want the main house. They had a huge estate. This is the gardener. She wants a big house. He said, no, I'm the gardener. This is my house. You want the big house. And that was one of their homes. And this guy got expelled from school. And he got in a very big corporate world where you're supposed to have lots of qualifications. He had none, not from school or university. So,
well said.
So don't just look. I mean, education is a great thing, but I'm not saying that's the only thing. You're looking for difference of thinking, and even if someone gives you an idea, the whole idea may not be useful, but you may be able to take a piece out of it. I can replant that idea there, and that will catapult.
This is beautiful. I mean, just in that little time, you have given so much of information and knowledge, and the depth at which you've given is so great. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. I'm glad it's helped.
Great, thank you. So you have talked about, I know you have mentioned that, intimate mastermind size of 6 to 8 people is what your personal preference is.
Uh-huh.
But can you talk about what are the various mastermind sizes, the group sizes that you've been to or hosted? And I wouldn't say what works better than the other, but what is your take? Because I do get this question a lot. What is the ideal mastermind size? And my personal answer to that is somewhere between 10 to 11 is the max that I look at, so that we can have a personal touch. But I know that there are so many people who host really huge masterminds, but I would like to know from somebody like you, what is your take on the mastermind sizes and what do you have to say about it?
Great, thank you. Well, I think ideally around about 8 is ideal. However, it's variable, isn't it? And it depends on the price point. So if you're going to be running masterminds, and I have run larger ones, I have, and I've attended larger ones where there's been like 50 people.
Wow.
Whereby they don't really get the answers in the room, but someone may call out the seed of an answer. And so they may say, yeah, you know what, great, we should talk about that later. Another way of looking at it would be a slightly broader viewpoint, where you could have 40 or 50 people on the group, for example, whereby it could be facilitated. Now, especially if it's online, my advice would be, if a lot of people are not used to being on Zoom, for example, give them very clear instructions first to set up a Zoom account, if you're using Zoom or Skype, whatever you wish to use, or Webinar Jam, GoToWebinar, whatever. How to use it, and encourage them to practice with a buddy a couple of times first, so that by the time they come on, they understand what they're doing. And there is online etiquette, i.e., please mute yourself unless you're speaking, because people are doing this. They've got children in the background. The dog comes in, or someone opens the office door and says, "Can you sign this document?" Maybe not so much during coronavirus, and that's distracting people's creative thoughts.
Yes.
So a little bit of mastermind etiquette, quiet environment. So please just mute yourself and unmute yourself when you need to. Even just moving a book like this or something creates a lot of noise, right? And it's very disruptive. So that when everybody comes online, they know what they're doing. It's easier for the facilitator to manage all those people and look at the questions. You can use the chat box. Okay. If you do ask questions or suggest things, try to practice the art of brevity, because for the facilitator, in this case, you guys, if you're going to have to read sort of 20 lines, and that's just one question, and then by that time somebody else has written another one and it disappears off the page and you're scrolling down. So try to give it in a short, succinct answer, because the more clear you are in saying it, it means the more clear you are in your mind anyway. So it's a great exercise for you as well as them. I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So in which case you can have larger groups.
Yeah.
Now, whereby, although let's say one person's being fixed at that time, so it's going to need to be a longer session, and each person will have less time. So they will need to articulate their challenge very clearly and very quickly. Okay. So they will need to think about it first. Don't just come on the session and think, let me think. This is 2 minutes. Got me. Buzzer goes on to the next person. So
you missed the golden opportunity.
Exactly. Your chance is gone. You paid for the session and it's gone. So try to keep it short. Think beforehand, and so you can articulate it in a few sentences. Now, when that's being fixed, you may find that there's several people on a larger mastermind with the same or similar challenges. If that's so, when you're answering one person, or when everybody's answering one person's question, and bear in mind, not everybody's going to answer, because if there's 50 people, you may think, well, my idea's already been said. So maybe only be 6 or 7 answers coming out. If there are, they may fix not only the one person, but also somebody else's answers also.
Yeah.
So because you're speaking, like now, I'm speaking with Rupa, but by default, all you guys could hear. So the answer isn't just Rupa does great masterminding anyway, but even if she didn't, and she didn't know she would be getting some nuggets here, but so would you also. The same thing applies on a mastermind. Okay?
That is so, so, so powerful. Thank you so much for that answer. And now, I'm sorry, there is this background noise going on, so apologize for that. So question to you is, some of the, from your experience, some of the best masterminds that you have been to. So one is the amazing things that happen inside of the mastermind, but some of the best masterminds, in my experience, is the ones that go beyond the mastermind event. So have you had opportunity to experience the beauty of mastermind after the mastermind ends, and if yes, how?
Yes, I have. Thank you. Yes, I have. Great question, by the way. Really, really great question. Mastermind and beyond. So sometimes we used to hire a room for masterminds, and we'd all go there. That's a group that I was part of. We'd mastermind in a group, in a room once a month. It was like a boardroom we hired. It was great. And in the end, we automatically took that online simply because we got too busy and some of us were traveling around the world and couldn't make it. So it didn't happen. And it fizzled out for a while because we sort of became a victim of our own success to some extent. I was traveling and the person facilitating it was certainly traveling all the time. And it didn't. So it fizzled out. And then a couple of us said, kind of missed that. It was a good thing. So we said, we should do it again. How much is the room to hire? And I said, even if we did it for a slightly shorter time, not like half a day, but even if, we used to do a whole day, I think. But even if we just did an hour or two online, I'd be like, well, that would really work, wouldn't it? Yeah, same format, right? But we just do it online. So we did it purely, mother being the what's it? The mother being the invention of all necessity. What is the expression?
Necessity is the mother of
all inventions. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I actually said this quote 2 days ago, and I forgot it today. But exactly that. So because we were traveling, well, it doesn't matter where we are. If we're at a hotel room here, we're speaking on stage. If we're off stage, we can make it. And we started picking up again. It worked really well. In doing so, the idea was so great, and it was discovered once that the other person has such great ideas, they was working on something similar, a joint venture came about. So that was Mastermind and beyond.
This is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that, because for me, if somebody is investing their time, their money in one event, it is also about seeing what is the best return I can get out of it. And it's often the difference is knowing how do others do that and then try to model that into your own life. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You are very welcome. Very welcome. Possibilities are everywhere.
Exactly. And it's up to me how I'm going to do that. At the end of the day, what matters is action. Having this knowledge is indeed the most powerful thing is knowledge. But that same knowledge is so useless if I'm not going to take action on it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And imperfect action is also fine, but taking action, right? And sorry, you're saying something.
No, I was just going to say that people say knowledge is power. It is not. Only applied knowledge is power.
I love it. I love the way you have put it so articulately. Wow.
Thank you.
Great. And that brings me to my next question about imperfect action, because the whole intention of launching this Masterminds Fireside Chat is for encouraging and inspiring entrepreneurs and experts to host their own masterminds. So, and I've shared that vision with you. So what is that one piece of advice you would want to give to those entrepreneurs or experts on why they should launch masterminds?
Okay, thank you. Why you should launch Mastermind is effectively what I said earlier, is you cannot buy time, but you can buy shortcuts. The better quality of people you have in the group is the higher price you can charge. It's like an exclusive club. Okay, a speakers club, a conference club. University, if you go to school, the better the teachers, the better the education, the better the reputation. Guess what? The fees are higher, obviously. If you cannot afford that, then you can't afford it. Start wherever you are, because you can always step up. Okay. But key thing is, do something, get started, because you cannot buy time, you can buy shortcuts. Okay. And it's about placing yourself in the environment, and which kind of reminds me of how I got started in Masterminding years ago, actually.
I would like to know that. Would you like to share it?
If yeah, okay, sure.
I'm waiting for that.
It's a slightly cheeky story. It was
Let's go
years
ahead.
ago. Years ago, when I was trying to work my way out how to get into this industry and what to do and how to get great ideas, and couldn't think of it. And I thought, well, I've got some fairly good ideas, but I don't know if they work because I hadn't done this and I hadn't done that. And I thought, how could I possibly attract really, really smart people to give great ideas? And I thought, well, this sort of mastermind thing would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, you get these great ideas and all these business gurus together to help. And I thought, but why would they come and help me? I thought, they wouldn't. Not in that time. Why would they help me? And I thought, well, what if I just facilitated it? I just merely ran the group and said, oh, well, I'm nothing to do with it. I just bring you great people together to help you. And by default, I'll just be in the room, right? I'll just be in the room facilitating it. So my mantra was to ensure that I was the most stupid person in the room. Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, but that talks a lot about you as a facilitator.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So that's how it started, getting some smart people in the room. And of course, it's what I call success by proximity. If you can surround yourself with great people, some of it rubs off. You've heard the adage that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. Well, if I was going to spend my time with really super smart people with super great ideas who had 20, 30 years more experience than me, then some of it, just a bit of it, was going to rub off on me. And it did. And here's, if any of you are having any lack of confidence in your ability, let me share this with you. I went into doing that and it worked fairly well. And this is great. I'm getting some great things. Some of the stuff I understood, some I didn't. And I just humbly said, could I ask you a question after when you said that I didn't quite understand what it meant? And they took time and shared, because, successful people are givers, right? They're successful people. They like to give their time. It's always about giving back. And they shared it with me. So now my knowledge was going like this. With this, my creativity grew, how I could take that idea and map it to this and that and that. And occasionally they asked me, what about your ideas? Well, actually, I was a bit put on the spot, but when they asked me, I discovered that my ideas wasn't that bad anyway. That was my biggest revelation, and I bet the same for you. So if you're ever thinking, would I be good enough to do it? Your ideas are probably already better than you know, because they're unique and they're from your standpoint. And that's the pure essence of masterminding, coming from your individual standpoint. That was my biggest lesson.
Wow.
And that's how I started actually becoming a participant in masterminds and then running more.
This is such an amazing story and such an inspirational one, because now that I've started talking with so many different people from other countries, I realized that, it was not just me. So I'm not good enough is not the crap that is present only out here. Everybody started with that. It's just an important thing about, acknowledging that and finding out ways to get over that every time that thought comes up. Wow. So tell me, the first mastermind that you hosted, how big was that? And was it offline, online? Your first mastermind?
It was offline. And how big was it? The answer is it wasn't. It wasn't big at all. It was, I think, 3 or 4 people in the group who turned up. I don't think I'd explained it particularly well. They turned up, looked a little bit puzzled. It didn't exactly follow the format that well. I got a little bit confused. They did, but the intention was good, and that came through. And I think that gave them the impetus to go to the next one. And I polished it up a little bit better. And of course, it took shape within a few a few sessions.
Wow.
But it wasn't an astounding success. It wasn't wonderful when it started. So if there's any advice there is just take imperfect action. Just do it.
Imperfect action. This is so amazing. I mean, we are literally thinking together and talking at different moments. Thank you so much for sharing that. I was just about to say imperfect action. Version 1 is better than version none. And
Perfect.
from that one small little mastermind, and I would say if it was 3 and 4 people, it's a great one to start with. I would say, even if, and this is a special message that I have for my aspiring entrepreneurs and experts who are thinking about mastermind, I would say get one other person with you, because mastermind is 2 or more people coming together. So
Well said. Well said. Absolutely. Yeah.
great, thank you. And with that, we have literally come towards the end of this discussion. I can talk about masterminds with you for hours together, but I would like to be nice and kind with the listeners and keep it short. So, question to you is this exact thing: what is that one piece of advice for people who are looking for masterminds, especially masterminds? Can masterminds be successful? Can it be a paid one? How do I go about it? What is the first thing that I do? What is your anything out of this? What is your one big advice for people who are looking for hosting masterminds?
To host a mastermind
Host.
would be as always, think of your end goal. Why are you doing this? Where do you want this to take you? That would be my main thing. Don't just do it because people are doing it because it's fashionable. What is your intended outcome? That would be my first thing.
Wow, start with the end in mind. Spoke like a true coach.
Okay, I guess I do this all week long, but yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's what I always try to do with everything I do. Is think, why would I be doing this? What is the purpose? Start with the end in mind. Then you get a clear path, and you can take those steps backwards.
This is amazing. And this is such a long-term strategy.
Yeah.
It's not just doing things because they are trending, because they are the buzzwords and you want to be one of those mastermind experts, but really doing that for a reason and knowing your personal big why. This is so powerful.
That's great. Rupa, you've been an absolute legend, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about your masterminding, because I can already tell from what I've heard and what I've seen, you're great at this, and you've got a great show here, and thank you for welcoming me to the fireside. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been great connecting with you people out there. It's been absolutely awesome, and I wish you all great success.
Thank you so much, Grant. I can't put in words how beautiful this discussion was. And even if, I think the most important thing is the listeners, forget all the discussion that we have done. Take just one single action item, turn that into action, take that knowledge and implement that in next 24 hours, in next 7 days. Write down that one thing today and take action. I think that's where the real difference will come.
You got it.
Thank you. So, Grant, before we say goodbye, let me ask you, for people who want to get in touch with you, how do they connect with you, and how do they go about it?
Thank you, Rupa. You can connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So I have a website which is called successisaformula.com. You can find me on Facebook. I have a website in the making, which is a personal website, which is my name, grantmurrell.com. Facebook, you guessed it, my name is grantmurrell.com. And same for LinkedIn, and Instagram is grant.murrell. But I believe you have all the links, Rupa.
I will be giving all the links out here. And also, does your mastermind have memberships open for others to, can others join your personal mastermind?
They absolutely can. I have various mastermind groups. Some are paid, some are not. But I will be hosting, I mean, with coronavirus and everything going on, we're restructuring everything. So for the higher end clients, that thing is still there. And if you want to know about that, private message me. Tell me that you're part of this fireside show, and that will be great. And if so, you can even come onto my free mastermind group.
Whoa, what a gift, Grant. Thank you so much. That speaks so much about you. And Grant, once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's such an honor to have an international speaker, coach, trainer, hypnotist, the rock star. Oh my God, you have so many hats that you don. And I would love to have you again back on this show. And I look forward to connect with you and serve you and together serve the entrepreneurs with you sometime soon.
That would be fantastic. I'd love that. Thank you very much, Rupa, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Grant. Have a fantastic day. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Rupa.